It seems like whenever I say anything about Caitlin Clark that doesn't praise every movement that she makes, people get ultra sensitive about it. And I'm at that point when it comes to covering WNBA basketball that I don't care about doing it anymore. Now, I am a humongous Caitlin Clark fan. And I've said this so many times, but for some reason, in the world of the WNBA, basketball players cannot be criticized. You cannot hold women's basketball players in the WNBA accountable for just about anything. It doesn't even matter what it is anymore. There's no accountability in the league. So if a player screws up, oh no, you can't say anything bad about her. You can't hold them accountable. You can't critique. None of that. It's like there's something within this league that prevents media members, national media, because they don't criticize anybody in the WNBA either. Despite you can watch show after show after show, which rips NBA players, NFL players, Major League Baseball players, hockey players, fighters. But when it comes to the WNBA, when was the last time you have seen a WNBA player, any WNBA player, criticized by national media for lack of performance? I know, some people may come back and say, well, Caitlin Clark last year, they were mentioning turnovers. There were 4 people largely were mentioning turnovers, and they were the women on ESPN. Let's keep it real. But outside of that, by the end of the year, there was nothing to criticize her about. Nothing. Now, there have been things that Caitlin Clark has done that stand to be criticized. And I'll be damned if I'm not going to do it. This is who I am. This is the podcast I created. I believe in accountability across the board. I'm going to hold someone accountable and hold their feet to the fire when they do things that I don't agree with. But it seems like when it comes to Caitlin Clark, you can't say a damn word about her without having people spaz out and lose their minds. They unsubscribe from channels. They comment how you're stupid. They say you don't know what you're talking about. They make excuses. There's always something. Ask yourself this question. If that was your daughter, or if that was your son, and your daughter or son behaved in a way that you found to be a bad representation of your family, what would you say? And yes, bitching and complaining while sitting on the bench in street clothes to referees 4 or 5 times a game to where you're making a scene is a bad representation of my family if that's my child. I do not care if my child is a professional athlete. I am still going to be my child's parent until the day I die. If you notice, you can go back and look at videos where Caitlin Clark's daddy is up her ass and telling her to shut her mouth on the court. Stop complaining on the court. This is when she's playing. Imagine she's not even playing. What her dad is thinking right now and saying like, can you please stop this? Look, you can sit here and say, and you have every right to say, you can sit here and say, look, this is her defending teammates. Okay. This is her. She's so tired of the abuse that she's received. She hasn't played 28 games this season. What are you talking about? They played 38 games. 39, no, I'm sorry. They played 41 games. She's missed 28 of them. What abuse has she been subjected to this year? She hasn't been subjected to anything this year. She's not played. So if you haven't played, guess what? You don't have any leg to stand on and sit here and complain about refs and the excuse being, oh, she's been abused this year. No, she hasn't. If you gave me that argument last year, I would say, sure, no problem. And you know what? I said time and time again that Caitlin Clark needed to voice this shit in press conferences. But she never does. She never does. And I love watching Caitlin Clark play. Her antics, though, I'm sick of. I'm tired of it. She's not a damsel in distress. She's not a princess. She's a professional athlete. Every time someone critiques her, doesn't need to be, oh, you hate her guts. No, I don't. I don't. I can guarantee you that my money, I put more money into Caitlin Clark than many people have. Many of the people who are criticizing me for my opinion. You are entitled to criticize me for my opinion. I couldn't care less. I really couldn't care less. But if your child, who will always be your child, carries himself or herself in a particular way that you don't like, you damn sure are saying something to your kid. Just like her dad did to her. She is still a 23-year-old and acting in a very immature way while on the bench. She is absolutely doing it. If you don't like it, you can say something about it. But don't defend it just for the sake of defending it because, oh, she's Caitlin Clark. Because if anybody else did that, you'd have a big problem with it. You would criticize it. And you would have no problem jumping on the train of bashing that player. And I'm not bashing Caitlin Clark. I'm critiquing what I'm seeing. What if it was a one-point game? See, people ignore so many of these things. But what if it was, I don't know, Indiana's 82-81, and then Caitlin Clark does all of that, which she did yesterday with the DeWanna Bonner situation. What if that then got her, because she's going after the referees first. The Bonner thing was after. She went after the referees with the same hands up in the air nonsense. What if she went at the referees and the referees teed her ass up? You're not a coach. Sit your ass down. You're not even on the floor. You're not even in uniform. Your teammates are sitting there all the way over there. Why don't you go help them? But because I call it out, oh, I hate Caitlin Clark. It's ridiculous. If Caitlin Clark had played this year, I would have flown my ass to Indiana at some point to watch her play. But it was very hard to do so with her injured all season. I don't live in Indiana. I don't live close to Indiana. It's going to cost me well over $1,000 between plane tickets and game tickets and hotel reservations just to go watch her play one time. Because I want to watch her play in Indiana more than in a road arena. I want to see the environment in Indiana. Then after that, I have no problem going to watch her play on a road arena. But I want to see her play at home. But it seems like whenever I make any type of comment, or anyone makes any type of comment that doesn't exactly kiss her ass or praise her to the nth degree, there are people that come back and like, oh, you hate her. Man, no, I don't. I hold people accountable for what they do and what they don't do. The same way I held her accountable when she committed 9 turnovers in a game, or 10 turnovers in a game, or 8 turnovers. The same way I've always held her accountable. Like, this is hurting the basketball team when she's forcing plays, when she's doing those types of things on the court. Maybe y'all don't want to hear it because you just want positivity all day long, but that's not how I'm built. I'm a realist. You want me to criticize other players for missing shots? You want me to criticize other teams, but you don't want yours criticized? I can criticize Aaliyah Ball. I can rip Stephanie White a new asshole for 2 months. But I say one word about Lexi Hull, and the fucking walls are falling. I say a word about Aaliyah Boston. Oh my God, the world's ending. I say a word about Caitlin Clark, and my God, It's Hiroshima and Nagasaki right here. But I can say whatever I want about Natasha Howard because y'all just don't fuck with her. I can even rip Kelsey Mitchell a new asshole and you're okay with that. It's just an interesting dynamic that has made people almost brainwashed. It's the same mentality that Angel Reese fans have over Angel Reese, where they created something in their mind that made them say Angel Reese is an incredibly skilled basketball player, which has never been the case. They've actually dumbed their basketball minds down to make them think that she is an incredibly skilled player when she's not. Does she do some things well? Yes. Has she improved this year? Yes. But that doesn't change the fact that she is lacking skill. And God forbid an Angel Reese podcaster said some shit like that. The podcast, that person's following would like lose their shit too. It's the same mentality. Do you want to be looked at as people who understand basketball, or do you want to be looked at as shills? A shill will tolerate anything that their player, their team, their coach does. I am not a shill. I'll never be one. Never. It's not my personality. It's not my style. My damn channel is called Rudy's Rant. Like, think about that for a second. I rant about shit. And it could be positive shit. It could be negative shit. And it might just be about your favorite player too. Caitlin Clark is my favorite player in women's basketball. She's my favorite all-time player in women's basketball. And she's only been in the WNBA for a year, just going to 2 years now. And we've been cheated out of a season because of the way the Indiana Fever have handled her injury situation. Heck, even the way she's handled it. But again, you can't critique Caitlin Clark because the best interest of Caitlin Clark would have been to sit her ass at home, rehab, and not come back too soon the first time. But no, she's been cajoled, she's been prodded, she's been pushed to go to every fucking road game. And the woman right now is suffering a mad level of, I don't know if you want to say PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder from not playing basketball or what. But she can't sit still on the bench. Someone needs to hand her an Adderall pill or something to calm her the fuck down. Give her an edible or something to calm her ass down. Because she is way too high strung to be on anyone's bench when she's not playing. You want to know when they talk about players who can't coach? Caitlin Clark will never be a coach. She'll never be a coach. She doesn't have the personality to deal with it. There's a reason the greatest players almost never coach. Because most of them don't understand the failures of most people. They expect you to be great all the time. They expect you to have the exact same work ethic that they have all the time. There's a reason Michael Jordan never coached. He sucked at it. There's a reason Magic Johnson was a catastrophe coaching in the NBA. He sucked at it. There's been very few non-point guards in the NBA to ever coach. Look at the players in the league right now. I'm sorry, the coaches in the WNBA right now. Becky Hammon was a point guard. She's a coach. Look at the rest of them. Look at the rest of them. Were any of them that are currently coaches in the WNBA all-stars, top shelf players? I mean, the Connecticut guy, no. I don't even know who the coach at Washington is. Atlanta, no. Dallas, no. LA, no. Seattle, no. Chicago, no. Coaches are usually lesser than players because they understand the game. They understand basketball. That's why they're coaches. The best ones don't coach because they can never put themselves in the position of someone that they consider maybe to be a failure as a player. And they don't have the patience to deal with those failures of a player. Could Caitlin Clark coach kids? Sure. Professionals? Not a chance. Not in my opinion. For the same exact reason that Michael Jordan can never do it. And I consider Caitlin Clark the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. Again, that's a high praise, I'd say. So I can still critique a person who I just considered who I just called the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. But yet I hate her because I criticize behavior. Criticize behavior all the time of human beings. Since when are we above critiquing human beings for behavior? When would you ever be okay with your kid behaving on the bench, yelling at officials during a basketball game if you're a parent? You never would. You never would. And if you would, I got to question your parenting skills. Because I've coached my children in soccer, in basketball, and football. I've coached them. And I've had to deal with their behavior and their tantrums on a field and had to sit their asses down on the bench for their behavior. And they're playing. If Caitlin Clark was playing right now, I don't like it. I don't like the behaviors. But I can accept it more. When you're not playing, it's like you going and starting a fist fight and then hiding behind your teammates and saying, please finish the fight for me. That's what it is. Whether you like it or not, that's exactly what's being done. When she's screaming at referees and she's not playing in the game, she's not in uniform, she's asking her teammates to now fight her battles on the court. Battles that she created because she's the one screaming at the referees. Just keep it a buck, man. It's okay to not 1,000% across the board praise for every breath a woman takes. She has lots of amazing qualities, but there are flaws, and they can be talked about without someone being called a hater, without it being, excuses. No, there are no excuses. There are no excuses for some of the shit that I've seen her do. You ever won a basketball game and the team, you know what? I'm gonna finish on this one. You remember when Angel Reese was following Caitlin Clark around the court doing this shit, right? LSU IO. I'm sure you remember it very, very well. Most of us thought it was classless, right? Most of us. Most people, most normal people, thought it was classless behavior on the part of Angel Reese. Now, there are the Reese Glazers who all praised it, said it was amazing, awesome. No, it's not. It will never be amazing and awesome to have behaviors like that, right? But I thought it was classless behavior. Most people that follow me thought it was classless behavior. Why was it classless behavior? For the taunting? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. But what Angel Reese should have been doing is celebrating with her teammates. They had just won the national championship. And she was more concerned about taunting Caitlin Clark than she was about celebrating with her teammates. You want to know what happened against the Los Angeles Sparks on Friday night? The Indiana Fever had just won a basketball game, had just won a road game against a team that had drop-kicked their ass 3 times. 3 times this year in a vitally critical game. And what was Caitlin Clark's first priority? To go yell at the referees after the game was over while her teammates are celebrating. And you don't think that's a problem? She was literally grabbed by the arm by Aaliyah Boston to stop her from continuing to chase the referees down for calls that were actually the right calls. So if you're going to hold one accountable and criticize for that, you're damn right I'm going to criticize for that. I'm going to critique the shit out of that because it's inappropriate. You won the game, but you're worried about yelling at refs in a game you're not even in uniform on. You're not even in uniform. You're not playing. Go celebrate with your teammates who just won the game against the Sparks on the road. If you didn't think that was a problem, then I guess you might be part of the problem. You are an enabler. I am not an enabler. I am not an excuse maker. I do not create reasons for why behaviors occur. I just point out that they'd occurred. Again, I love Caitlin Clark. She's the greatest women's basketball player I've ever seen play. Ever. 47 years old. I've never seen anyone better than her. There are people that will disagree. That's fine. They're entitled to disagree with me. But this is my opinion. But I'm also going to hold her accountable for the shit that she does. Because if that behavior occurred and they lost the game because of it, i.e., you're up 81-80 with 30 seconds to go. That happens. Technical foul, ball. Now it's 81-81. They got the ball. They win the game 83-81. What are you saying then? No big deal? You just cost your team a game. And in this situation, it could be a playoff spot. I don't care if they make the playoffs at this point, but it could very well be a playoff spot. Would you find that okay then? You won't say a word about it until it actually impacts a lot. And the thing is, impacts a win. And the thing is, you don't even know if it does impact the win or not, because you don't know if the referee or referees that she's screaming at shift their thought process after she berates them. You're human, right? You work a job, right? Ever had someone berate you at your job? Probably. Most people have. Most people have been yelled at by a boss, an employer. Most people at some point in their lives, if you live long enough, have been yelled at by an employer for making a mistake or what was perceived by them to be a mistake. In this case, the referees don't work for Caitlin Clark. She's an employee just like their employees. So this will be almost like you're screaming at one of your coworkers, your people that are on your same level. You scream at them, or I'm sorry, they scream at you. How does that impact your day the rest of the day? Tell me, what do you think? How does that impact your day the rest of the day? Does it? For most people, psychologically, it does. Maybe not for everybody, but for most people, psychologically, when you get screamed at by your boss or from one of your colleagues, it has a negative impact on how the rest of your day goes. And if I'm a referee and I just had this 23-year-old child screaming at me about a call that she's wrong about on top of, how do I view her now? She's not playing, so what do? I'm going to take it out on her teammates. It's psychology. Start treating people with kindness who can decide your fate. It's okay to do that. I wish that if she was going to rip referees, she'd do it in post-game press conferences when she was playing. I wish that she would rip other players in post-game press conferences when she was playing, rather than glazing them saying, oh, Dejanay Carrington didn't poke me on purpose. Angel Reese didn't tomahawk my face on purpose. Marina Mabrey didn't clothesline me on purpose. No, she should call the bullshit out. Real talk. But she hasn't done so. And that's on her. So, you can ask yourself these questions, because if you can ask yourself these questions and genuinely come back and say, nah, someone screaming at me has no impact on my day, you're lying. You're lying, or you're perfect. Because when my wife yells at me, my day gets fucked up. It impacts my day. Thankfully, in her case, if I fuss at her, it doesn't really impact her very much for more than like 10 to 15 minutes. She's better than me. She's better than me for other reasons, trust me. But you yell at me? Yeah. For what? Because I made a mistake? Because I missed a call, in your opinion? Like, you're a kid. And whether or not I think the referees in WNBA suck or not, and they do, most of those referees have been reffing as long as Caitlin Clark's been alive. Whether it's good or bad in your opinion is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is they've been doing it probably for almost as long as she's been alive. So before you get all hell-bent and bothered and want to tell me that I'm an idiot and call me all kinds of names out of my name, Hey, man, I want you to think about it. If you were that referee being screamed at and berated by a kid, if you're a 45-year-old or a 50-year-old and a 23-year-old starts screaming at you, what do you think? What are you gonna do? What's your reaction? Oh, I'm mature. I'm not. Bullshit. You're human. You have emotions just like she does. So she's allowed to take her emotions out on you, but you can't take your emotions back out and magically miss a call here and there. I'm telling you, people, man, there's a reason Luka Doncic gets fucked over on calls so often in the NBA, because he carries himself almost exactly the way Caitlin Clark carries herself in a game. Cries about every call. He cries about it more than she does, which is like, he cries constantly. And it impacts the game. It impacts the calls he gets. But you don't believe me, it's fine. Hope you stuck around to watch the entire video. I'm a humongous Caitlin Clark fan. I'm a humongous Caitlin Clark supporter. I'm so much a supporter that I've had people threaten my life over this bullshit. Think about that for a second. Has anyone threatened your life over your Caitlin Clark fandom? I've got 2 videos made about me over my Caitlin Clark fandom. 2 videos that had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, but yet 2 videos. It's been said and spread that I disrespect black women. When my wife is black, my ex-wife is black, half my family is black, my children are black, I have a black daughter. Like, fuck are you talking? Technically step. Disrespect black women because I shut someone down who was talking shit to me, and I wasn't gonna allow that to happen. So that's now the narrative that's been created. Come on, people. We're smarter than this. We're better than this. But yes, I've had multiple threats on video by other people on podcasts because realistically because of my Caitlin Clark fandom. Because the topics had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark, for which I got threatened. Think about that for a second. So much so that my name as the white boy is still being brought up on other podcasts while people crash out over Angel Reese. To this day. It all gets back to me. And I laugh at it. I think it's hilarious. I think it's sad. But I'm being referred to on other videos of people that hate Caitlin Clark based on their dislike for another podcaster who is a Reese podcaster. Think about this for a second. This is where we've gone. We've lost sight of reality. This is a fucking sport. This isn't real fucking life, people. This is sports. These are sports. They're games that kids play for free that I love, but am I going to die over a sport? Am I going to lose my life over a game? Yo, it ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. I'm telling you right now, I'm not making it up. I've had multiple threats to the point where I had to consider calling the police and filing restraining orders against people. I don't know where they live. People can be found however which way you want. It's not very hard in today's world. You can find out anybody's information with a click and $30. Not hard. Not hard. But this is what we have right now in this world of the WNBA, and this is why I'm stepping away from it. Because it's not worth the fucking headache. It's not worth it. The league itself can suck a dick. Eat a clit. Scissor each other. I don't give a shit. When Caitlin Clark steps on the basketball court again, I will care about Caitlin Clark. And I'm only making this video because I dropped the video earlier today. I dropped one earlier today about Caitlin Clark. It wasn't about it. It was actually about the game yesterday. And then at the 9-minute mark, I started talking about Caitlin Clark's antics with DeWanna Bonner, which in my opinion, Caitlin Clark started. You can watch it. She's already complaining to referees about a foul that was called on Lexi Hull, who fouled DeWanna Bonner. And Caitlin Clark is damn near halfway to midcourt with her hands up in the air, berating referees again. And DeWanna Bonner, she's older, man. She don't give no fucks. She looked back at her and starts chirping back at her. Again, why are you on the court yelling at referees when your team is on the bench? You're the only one yelling at the referee. Your own coaches ain't doing it. You are. And this all stems from that. The comments that I got, the insults that I got, from people that watch my videos. People, man, we gotta be more. We gotta be better than this. We gotta be better than this. Ask yourself this question: how much would you spend to go watch Caitlin Clark play? I can probably assure you, I'm pretty sure that most of you, I will spend more money on to go watch her play than you will. I wanted to cover her playing basketball so badly that I freaking was applying for credentials all over the league. And I don't live in any WNBA city. I don't live in any WNBA city. If Miami magically gets a WNBA franchise again, I will be one of the first people to apply for a media credential. Promise you that. Maybe I get it, maybe I don't. But until that day comes, I have no reason to still continue to cover this league or try to. I've tried to provide information on this league. This league doesn't want to, these people don't care about this league, no matter what narrative they push. This league is irrelevant to 99% of the American population. 99%. They draw 150,000 people on an NBA TV game. They get outdrawn by wrestling. Not even WWE. They're getting outdrawn by minor league level wrestling, AEW. They're getting outdrawn by 10 times by the Little League World Series on the same night. And you're sitting here telling me this is a serious sport? You got a team that has a 3,500 seat arena. This is a serious sport? This ain't a serious sport. This isn't a serious league. You playing in front of a Band-Aid box, can't fill that motherfucker up, and then complain because the fans came to see a player from the other team who happens to be from South Carolina, which is right next to the state of Georgia, 2 hours from Atlanta. And Ryan Howard cries about that post game. Think about this, people. We're smarter than this. We're better than this. This game is not serious. This league is not serious. So why should I take it seriously? Which is why I'm no longer going to do so. No matter how hard I've tried to talk about other teams, other players, it's the same shit every single time. Oh, you don't like Caitlin Clark? No. Oh, you don't like this no more. Oh, you hate Caitlin. Oh, how do I hate Caitlin Clark by saying something nice about somebody else? Explain that logic to me. How? I can say a nice thing about Angel Reese and not hate Caitlin Clark. It's possible. I've done it. I can give credit where it's due and not be lying or a hater or whatever. Like, think about the logic. Think about the logic of people where it's so skewed now that, shit, player goes to 35 and 15. Oh, she sucks. She sucks. Oh, that was because of this or that. No, it was that she played great. And you can give the woman credit for that. And God forbid I do a video on it, I get all kinds of fuck shit comments or people don't watch the video at all. That's not WNBA coverage. That's why when Jason Whitlock, who to this day never reached out to me, and I wish he would have, because I dig Jason Whitlock's content for the most part. I'm a fan of his. But yes, again, I can critique. I didn't, whatever the word he used, I didn't attack him. I critiqued him. The same way he critiques everybody. The same way he did literally last year during the Colorado football season, a daily dose of Dion. And none of that shit was ever positive. None of it. He's still doing videos on Dion and Shador. And none of them are positive. But again, I was never content. I would love to still be on there. But I understood when the Pope said, I'm not a WNBA podcast. That's where you get it wrong. I didn't start a podcast to cover the WNBA. Who gives a fuck about the WNBA? I'm covering Caitlin Clark. This is a dude that went to the LSU campus and asked the simple question of people at LSU, who would you start a team with, Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese? And I think more than half of them said Caitlin Clark at LSU. Cover Caitlin Clark, bro. I tried to expand to the rest of the league. I tried. Because there are things that have just become very, very difficult to even talk about. When your girl's not playing, when she's been injured the whole year, when the injury situation has been handled horrifically by the team and by her, again, you can hold her accountable because she's a big girl. She's an adult, right? But all of those things said, it ain't fun watching this league when she's not playing in it. So you try to create other things to watch and talk about, because I can only talk about so many fucking childlike level things. I can't make stuff up. I won't talk about certain things that other people have no problem talking about. And I tell you why that is, because I don't rely on YouTube to pay my bills. This is not my career. This is something that I do for fun, that I love, that is a passion, that if by chance it blows up to where I have a few 100,000 subscribers or maybe 1 million subscribers, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? If that day ever was to come, I'd be eternally grateful for your viewership, but I would be eternally blessed by that happening. And at the same time, then maybe, yeah, then I will be, maybe then I would leave my position in my job. I probably still wouldn't because I love my job. I love my job. I could do my job from anywhere in the country. I could be in Alaska and do my job, right? But again, I'm not gonna kowtow or shill or bend over because that's not who I am. I wouldn't respect myself. I couldn't look myself in the mirror, but I don't need this, which is why I'm covering other stuff that actually makes me happy, brings me joy. Covering combat sports brings me joy. BKFC, dirty boxing, PFL. Would love to cover the UFC in person. Be awesome. Miami Hurricanes football, probably Hurricanes basketball. Maybe somehow I get credentialed by the Miami Heat, being that I canceled my season tickets. I probably still wouldn't go to those games though. But like that's the thing, like I'm covering stuff that makes me happy. And I hope that I can grow those areas to where I can cover those in great depth and detail to where I don't have to ever talk about the WNBA ever again. I don't want to talk about the WNBA. I want to talk about Caitlin Clark. Period. I've literally made videos for the last month and a half, largely about Stephanie White. Because there's nothing to talk about with Caitlin Clark. She's not playing. This shit ain't fun. Watching these games sucks. Win or lose, they're not entertaining. I didn't start watching because of Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, anybody. I'm watching for one specific player, and that's why when Pope said it, my channel's about Caitlin Clark, and I already see that he's making a shift on some of his content where it's not just all Indiana basketball. He's making a shift and doing some other things, and I applaud him. Talk to Ben Daniel about this too. Better find another avenue because this shit is tired. It's tired. It's toxic. It's energy sucking. It's a succubus. It's a blood sucker. It takes your blood from you. Like, you don't want, like, for what? Do you really enjoy watching this shit? I know the fact is that none of y'all enjoy watching this shit. I had some person say that I enjoy watching Caitlin Clark yell at referees because at least it's entertaining. Entertaining to whom? It makes her look bad. You want her to look bad? There's a group of people who hate her so much that any little thing she does, they will magnify it and make it 1,000 times worse. But in this case, that behavior is not appropriate behavior. So it's giving them fuel to their fire, ammo for their AR-15s, for them to put her at the firing squad. This year, I made a point to talk very, very little about Angel Reese. Hell, after the first 10 games where she was horrendous, and I did make some videos there, I was like, yeah, you made me look bad because I made some nice comments about you. The reality is, I've not said much of anything about Angel Reese for the most part since game 10. I can't recall. I mean, I've had comments on lives, but I can't remember if I've made any individual videos about Angel Reese since game 10, realistically. Why? Because I'm trying to leave that space of every time Angel Reese opens her mouth, I'm going to take a shot at her. I'm not doing that. It ain't fun. I saw a tweet recently from her where she says she didn't watch the U.S. Open between Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff because they're both black queens. So she didn't watch. It's like, what? You did that to make yourself feel important? But you didn't watch because they're both black? But you play in a sport that's all black for the mostly black. You don't watch sports that black people play each other? Like, it's illogical. But I didn't go make a video about it. I could have. It would have been entertaining. But I'm not going to take a dump on her on another video. It's not even worth my time anymore. My time is too valuable to make videos about bullshit like that. But I think y'all get my drift at this point. That's all I got to say. You know, if you ride with me, you ride with me. If you don't, you don't. It is what it is. I'm not losing sleep over it. Like I said, I don't need it. But those that ride with me, I appreciate you. I think y'all are great folks. You understand that, you know what? Everyone ain't fucking perfect. And everyone can be critiqued. That's all I got. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. This is Rudy's Rant, Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball. Come on now.